Welcome. Today I'm gonna talk about Touch OSC. I have this application on an old iPad and I wanted to make a use of it, and I was looking for a controller to control some aspects of Ableton Live, and I remembered that I have this application, and I even built some templates for Tractor, and for this purpose, to control Ableton Live, I will use a cable, and I will show you a workaround how to upload these created templates on your iPad. In this case, I'm using the first version of Touch OSC, MK1. I decided to use this one because I'm just familiar with it. I find the latest to be a little bit strange for me. A lot of options, and everything is kind of very different that I learned to use. Also, I decided to use the first version because I had already the app installed on my iPad, and I just updated it. Overall, it's working nice, and it's very easy to use without menus and tabs and things. For more advanced users, for very complicated setups for Resolume, or there are a lot of options, but for basic and a very nice controller to use in Ableton Live, it's enough. So I will get into the iPad. Here I have the App Store opened, and here are the applications. I have this version. It's MK1, and here it's stated that it costs 14.99 British pounds, but I think if you buy that, will be both included, like in this one. So you need this application. Straightforward, open it. I have this template already loaded, but I will get my template. This is the template I have with different tabs. For channel 1 to 8 and 9 to 16. I added here like extra faders and extra buttons that can be pressed on and off just with the move of the hand. The faders here in this case are quite close to each other, but again, this is for the reason that you can paint with the finger the level, and there are 18 channels or whatever automation you want to make, maybe even to move some crazy parameters with just a touch of the finger, which is very nice. I have this section here that the idea was to have the oscillators mapped here, maybe. Also, I'm usually using the filters sections or some other few parameters in the same time, and here like a ribbon fader, very long, for maybe track performance from pitch, bend to filter, or some effect to go in out. Some keypads for different things, I'm not very sure, but was a little bit of space left, and I decided to put here as well some parameters. Here the idea was to have this ribbon like long faders to have a lot of control for very precise movement, and I labeled them to be these filters, maybe on different VSTs, and you can control them with 2-3 fingers to move them along the way, which is very nice in this idea of Touch OSC because you can use your fingers. Here some little buttons, maybe to do something on the channels or to enable this parameters, some drum pads, and here in the same way like a little drum pads, but these ones again you can make some trills with it, move them fast, even in two ways, lower notes and higher notes. Here it's a clip launch. In this case I just have a few buttons mapped, these upper ones, and here two designs of stop and play buttons. And here it's an idea to have like a channel strip. I'm not very sure yet, but I pretty much have everything I need. It's nice that maybe to have more tabs, like 2 or 3 more, to have a lot of controls here and just to switch the pages. So here it's a mute button, a solo button, the fader itself long, and sends A and B, and all this page 8 channels and another 8 here. So this is pretty much, and I will go to the project and talk about a little bit about some issues, some things how to do, and browse a little bit the project itself to see how I did all these things. I filmed previously everything, I mean print screen, but it's a very long video, and everything it's about the design, the tedious process, how to lay out everything and to map and to put these numbers for every single buttons to be interpreted. My surprise was that it was very simple, and I had to install just 2 things. First of all, the editor itself, which is I will see here the version, it's 1.8.9, it's the latest one that I found in the old design layout. This application called Touch OSC Bridge, which it will load here, and you will see if your iPod is connected just here under like one USB connection, and it's everything you need. From the official website, this can be downloaded. I think this is the latest version, and this is the first version, and a lot of other options. So here is the first version. There are a lot of information how to do these kind of things. This is the editor, and what exactly you need, it's so the application installed on the iPad, and here it is pretty much on the Touch OSC MK1, the main page. It's here in the end. You need just these 2 things to have the controller and an iPad and the app installed on your iPad. And you download these ones, you install them, and you launch the editor. I launched here the editor. I loaded here my template, which is this one. So you load the template and you start to design. In this part I will fast forward a little bit of my process, how I did it, and I want to talk now about what you need to change here in the left side, which is the most complicated part for most of the people. I do this to document the process for me to remember, also as a mini tutorial for me to remember maybe a few years later, which helps me all the time. If I record what I did, I can remember easily, because I do a lot of other projects, and meanwhile we just forget or it will take much longer time to remember exactly what you did, the software change, or things change, or things are moving on the computer, in my computer at least. And there are some ideas how I managed to do this row of buttons to be very precise, which it's kind of trial and error, but in the same time I did some movement up and down. And what I want to say from the beginning is that anyone who is attempting to do this, it has to do just a channel. So when a channel like this is completed, you can just copy it and paste it and move it with the arrows and place it where you want. So a single channel strip, and then copy all the rest. And in the end, we will change the parameters. Here for the channel 2 as well, channel 2 page 2 with different, so on each single buttons you will need to change maybe the numbers, and overall it's everything is placed. And the grid is kind of useful because you can snap to a certain position. Also individual elements they have here the size and the position. Maybe if you want to align them more horizontally, you just keep one number constant and they will be all aligned on the certain line. But if you start with care in the beginning, with care you place every single element, everything will be nice, paginated. All the mapping a little bit later, because you have kind of to remember the numbers. You start from 1, you reach 127 here in the MIDI part. So here I have number 9. You start with channel, let's say channel 1, I have here number 1. So by default, I can demonstrate here like in the empty thing. I will take a channel strip and just paste it. Command C, Command V. And by default is pretty much like this, and you just have to select the element. In this case, on all the elements will be the same thing, which is the MIDI value, CC, control change value, and here you enter a number and you start from 1, 2, 3. So you start 1, 2, 3, or 1, every single element in a certain order to remember exactly. You can note exactly where you stopped and you continue. Doesn't matter in the end the order, but it matters to not put the same elements with the same number. This is all, because it will send the same MIDI data to the Ableton Live. This means that two faders will have the same control, which can be as well useful. If you want, you can have one fader in one way and one fader in a different way, and both will reflect the same thing, and from both you can control the same thing, which is nice. I didn't add something like this in my setup. I had in mind, let's say you can have a fader like this and you can have a fader like this, controlling the same thing, and you decide which one you feel like it's better for you. Very nice feature. Some other things that I found useful are these long faders, because you can control everything with a finger and with a lot of precision. These small ones are kind of a little bit too small. You can make them bigger. Maybe you don't need this many, but I wanted to have a template that I can use in every situation, in regardless what I'm using, a synth or Ableton Live or in Contact or whatever, and I will add more feature for myself, but for this purpose, to remember and to document and to make this little tutorial, I think there are enough buttons here. So like here, the same way like a button like this, it's a press button, so right click, multi-push. There are a bunch of buttons which are, they have every single one, they have a value, and from there like selecting value 2 will mean the button 2. Enable this, controls change, and just this number has to be incremental and different from any other button. So you start with 1, 2, 3 or whatever. And when you reach 127, you change here channel 2 and you start all over with 1, 2, 3. That's all pretty much. So you have different options here: LED, labels, buttons, faders, rotary, XY. I didn't include it in my template because I have in other templates. Probably it's enough to just copy and paste it. So you can, another little trick is to open, let's say here I have a different template opened and I copy from here. I close the template, actually I open a different one, and I just press paste, and I will get a button from one template to another, and there are few that are included and also free. And now I will demonstrate how this template can be uploaded on the iPad without the need to sync. Maybe you are lucky, I'm not, to be able to sync, and also I find kind of faster, or for me, I had a lot of problems with the sync on my computer. Maybe on yours, once it's connected, it will work very nice. But the workaround, it's simple, just open a new Finder. So new Finder window. So it's Ventura, and here the iPad window would look like this. And here on this tab, you click Files and you browse on your iPad application, and here if you press this arrow, it will show you the files from this application. And here are all the templates, pretty much just the templates under this your application. And from a different window, like here I have a shortcut with the layouts, you just drag and drop, and in this case I will hit replace, but I made some changes and I don't want to save them, so I will stop this one. So that's all. And you go on the iPad. If your template is just already loaded and you just made some changes, load a different one just for a second, and then go back and load yours. Hit done, and that's all. All the settings doesn't matter. For me, doesn't matter because it will be detected automatically, and since it's connected through a cable, it will just work if you have here the bridge loaded in the upper bar. And that's all pretty much. And now in Ableton Live, I saved here a template. After I mapped everything, and I have here in the mapping MIDI section all the buttons mapped, and it's very easy. You go on the channel, and on the iPad you select the fader or the button that you want to map, and you move from the iPad the fader and it will be mapped. and if you can see, it's moving. So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, 4, and so on. And here I have in the Ableton as well the sends. I like sometimes to send a little spike into the sends for a reverb or a delay, and I like to have these ones available. Jumping to the channel 2 as well, you can move the other ones. Here it's channel 16, 15, 14, and so on. And the nicest part is that if you move here a fader with your mouse, it will reflect in the app as well. This is the part that I like the most. And as well, if let's say you have a certain order of the faders and the sends and everything, and you save this template, when you open it, it will reflect on the load the position of the fader. So I will demonstrate that. Here is the iPad. I'm loading a different one just to reset everything, and now I'm loading my template. I'm closing this Ableton Live. So I'm loading my template, and now I'm opening my template with everything mapped, and it jumped everything to be how I left it, including the sends and everything else. Probably will be as well everything you mapped, plenty of them. Here are some pads, you can use different fingers. The part that I didn't figure out, I don't even know if it's possible to have the velocity. Probably it's not possible because maybe the screen is not transmitting the pressure. And what is left out? Pretty much it's everything. I will demonstrate this pad how it works. If I load a synth, and I press the record button, it's pretty much like a keyboard. So I can use the pads and also these ones. This starts very, very low on C2 or something like this, but to manage that and to move the pads up and down, I use a simple MIDI effect with the pitch, and I jump 12 semitones or 24 if it's too low. And also I can double this one and just press on and off to one. With less attack, it's with unison or velocity, it's a different effect. So you can have this like crazy bassline, like you can put for yourself different ones or go lower. Maybe just do it, yeah. It depends on the sound. I think this here here on the controller, on the editor, here there are some options with the notes sending. Here value note, program change, poly pressure, which is, I don't know, channel pressure, I don't know exactly what is it. Maybe pitch bend we'll use in the same way. So there are some options to explore still. But this is the start. You get the basic thing and a very nice template and control overall, which will do pretty much what you want. If you want some crazy programming, you can actually go to the latest software, and there are a lot of other parameters, and everything can be explored and found very nice on the website, and with all the properties from the labels and everything you can do, and not in very big details, but you have to explore what it's all about, including XY pads, and but this is something workable, and I found it very nice layout. And if you can see here, I said that I will talk about these numbers. If I'm going into the live and move the fader, it will reflect and it will align with the numbers, and that is pretty much trial and error, just to move them for a single channel strip, and then you duplicate all the numbering to the others. So you have to position these ones one by one, pixel by pixel, sometimes pressing the up and down buttons until they align properly, and load again, and so on. So this is for me, and this is for now. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. In 2024, Touch OSC version 1 is still usable, and it can be very helpful to design a template, in my case on a very old iPad that I cannot use on other things. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.